I'm congested right now, sorry, but today we're ranking all fighters based on everything. But first, I need to clarify a couple things. I won't be covering literally everything about each character, but I will be covering character design, character uniqueness, and the character's lore or personality. Now let's start off with our first character. Starting off with Sword's design, he has a very sleek and clean look, which makes sense because he has the second newest character design in fighting. It's a little bit sad that his knight helmet thing isn't canonically welded to his head anymore, but whatever, it just looks better. The way his cape is animated is really flowy, and honestly, it looks amazing. When I first saw it, I was honestly a little stunned, and that's not even a joke. Very basic knight design, but it's actually done greatly. 8 out of 10 design-wise. Uniqueness, though, the devs did the best they could. I mean, how unique can you make a dude with a sword? You can't really do much with that. Swords are like the most common weapon. They are just medium-sized blades that have nothing special to them. The devs actually did really good for what they were given. His reworked passive is honestly what saves his uniqueness score. If he didn't have his passive and he still had the old passive, I probably would have given him a 2 out of 10 uniqueness. But since his passive gives him much stronger versions of his normal moves, I'm gonna give him a 4 out of 10 uniqueness. Yeah, I know, not that much higher, but whatever. Lore and personality wise, this section includes relations, by the way. I mean, he doesn't have all that much. He has basically no lore, but I guess Medkit and Rocket are his friends. You hear that? Sword and Rocket are friends. Nothing more. Sword fighting, I'm sorry about that one time I started going off on you in your comment section. That video was genuinely disgusting. I did not want that getting lumped in with the community. But the worst part was people were liking it and thought it was genuinely funny. Anyways, Venom Shank is his adopted father. That makes Banhammer, Valk, and Dom his cousins. And also, he just knows Darkheart. He doesn't really have a relationship with him, but he knows Darkheart. His personality is basically just a cheesy guy who cares for his friends and is also a little shy. Not much to really go off, but solid. 6 out of 10 lore and personality. As I've previously said, Skateboard's design is basic. I know he's old, but geez. Sure, he just looks like a regular skateboarder, but they could have done a little bit more, right?
It seems Dan is stepping in to talk. Knee pads, shoulder pads, elbow pads, and a helmet that shouldn't be able to be taken off. That last part is actually really stupid. There really just isn't much we could say about Skateboarder's design. It's just kinda bland.
5 out of 10 design. Uniqueness is definitely Skateboard's strong suit, though. Tell me how you incorporate a skateboarder into a fighting game. How much are you gonna do besides have him smack people with a skateboard? Well, fighting actually did a great job at making him unique. The trick gimmick when you're riding your skateboard is honestly just what saves him. If you couldn't do tricks, his uniqueness would definitely be lower. Skateboard's probably gonna get the highest uniqueness score out of this whole video. 8 out of 10 uniqueness. Based off all the information I found, Skateboard is basically just friends with all the playground fighters. I wasn't able to find as much proof that he was friends with any other character though, so yeah. He is apparently a gang leader though, and for how goofy this game is, that's kind of funny. I don't know why, but there's so little information that I could actually find about this goober that I don't even know his general personality. So due to lack of info, I'm gonna need to say 5 out of 10 lore and personality.
This time I'll be starting us off. Biograft's design almost perfectly shows off what a high-tech killer robot would look like. But there's just one eeny-weeny tiny problem. He's a little square-like and outdated looking, at least compared to more of the recent designs in fighting. He is getting a redesign, which is great, but that's probably the biggest gripe we have about his design right now.
7.5 out of 10 design. For me, Biograft's biggest source of uniqueness comes from his teleportation. His E and basically his Q both teleport him somehow. Of course, this can be extremely OP if used correctly, but it is also one of the things that makes Biograft Biograft. Even if it does seem a little too strong for the game, I am glad it is in the game. Pretty solid uniqueness, honestly. 6 out of 10. Bio doesn't really have a personality because he's a robot, but the lore behind what created him is pretty interesting. Subspace created every single Biograft in order to destroy his enemies, basically, and he just uses some of them as basic servants. That's kind of interesting, but not much to it, so 5 out of 10 lore and personality. Hopefully we can all agree that Katana looks very cool, but if you inspect his design even more, you can't help but notice that he's a little flat looking. It's kinda like the situation with Biograft, but even worse in my opinion. When Bio has a bunch of orange streaks going through his body, Katana just has flat clothes. Katana also is getting a redesign, and that is also great for him, cause he kind of needs it. 6.5 out of 10 design. Katana's uniqueness is minimal, to say the least. The most unique thing about him is his passive. Once you hit someone enough times with your M1, his passive activates, giving them temporary slowness and damaging them a little bit. This definitely helps Katana ensure his kills because he's very slow and has no mobility moves whatsoever. His passive is extremely useful and, honestly, pretty unique. But the rest of his kit is just nothing really. A counter, a grapple to pull people in, and another slash that gives shield. I'm gonna need to say 5 out of 10 uniqueness.
As for Katana's lore and personality, he actually has a lot about him. The only person Katana considers a friend is Hyperlaser. Vine Staff, Shuriken, and Slingshot all see Katana as a friend, but Katana doesn't see him in the same way. Scythe is just annoying as Katana because she bugs him about rejoining the Church of the True Eye, as Katana was an ex-member of it. Lastly, Katana knows Broker through it, and Broker wants to kill him due to him leaving it. Although it has been hinted that Katana and Broker are actually related to each other. As for Katana's personality, it's clear that he's more of a loner. That's pretty much all we could get from him. Nothing else is clearly stated about him in any place we could find.
8 out of 10 lore and personality.
Come on, can I please do some of the Banhammer section?
No, don't ask again.
Why not?
Banhammer's my character.
Please.
Stop asking. Nobody can say that Banhammer's design is boring in any way. It's cool, dark armor, not to mention his actual Banhammer. That is the most detailed part about him, and I love it. Of course, they could have done a little more with the armor, I won't not say that, but it still looks amazing. I cannot rate his design lower than 7.5, but I'm gonna say 8. 8 out of 10 design. Let's just be honest, is Banhammer unique at all? Not really. The most unique thing about him is his finisher because you execute people if they're at 50% of their health and shield combined. But that's basically all he has. I can't even talk about this for longer, it's just 3 out of 10. For his lore and personality, we actually have a lot of info. Windforce is his mom, the rest of the swords are his aunts and uncles, the Flipside brothers are his cousins, and he's enemies with Scythe and Broker. Those are for obvious reasons because they're both criminals. The reason why he's enemies with them because they're criminals is because he's actually the warden of Banland. He considers himself a tyrant for some reason and is really cocky about his powers. He will try to put weaker people down for being weak. Also, he's 6'11". How are you physically 6'11"? To be fair, he's not even a regular human, but still. Honestly, 8.5 out of 10 lore and personality. Don't worry, there's gonna be a ranged version and a support version for this video. Just wait a little.